I think it's also fundamentally very difficult for people to understand. I mean, I was talking to Yatsu of Animoca Brands, and he called it digital colonialism. We've been basically given our data up, and it's being sold back to us, and we don't know any better. Like you said, maybe like you said, parts in Pakistan still, and parts of our own human brains, we can't even see what we should be doing. And again, maybe you talk to some of these people and say, you could own your own land and be entrepreneurial, and they're just like, what are you talking about? I just farm the crops and I get paid a little bit of rent, and I'm just happy to have my kids. You must have a hard time, and I know I do, trying to tell people why Web 3.0 is better than 2.0, because they say, well, YouTube's great and Facebook has all my pictures and my friends, so what's the problem? How do you start to have this conversation with people that maybe aren't as enlightened as some of the people in the blockchain space?
Yeah, I think interestingly, one of the big differences between Web3 and Web2 is monetary incentives as well, right? So usually you can start that conversation by talking about money, like in the sense that, like let me backtrack a little bit. Let's go back to even earlier times when humans used to live in tribes. Like in any area or civilization that you study, you'll notice that humans will very quickly figure out ways to trade with each other. And they would very quickly figure out, concepts of property rights or some sort of rules and regulations, right? Because trading actually increases economic prosperity. And they would come up with like seashells or some sort of a currency or, gold of basically representing store of value. And trading makes everyone better, right? It kind of like expands the economic pie for everybody. So that's a fundamental principle. And now imagine that we have computers and we have the internet, and most of the work in the world now actually happens digitally, right? Like we are mostly doing work on our computers, no matter what profession you're in. Like slowly, like all the jobs are actually, being done online. And what Web3 is really doing is it's defining how you can trade and make money online, right? And those rules are very transparent. And that's actually like a fundamental shift, because think of this way that, if you were living in a tribe, you could only trade with people in your physical proximity, right? And it's a very limited economy. So now you as a digital citizen of the world are actually getting plugged into the world economy. And the world economy is going to be huge, right? It's everyone on the planet. And these protocols are actually wiring the rules for how these trades are going to happen and how people are going to make money, right? And this is so fundamental that it goes down to all the way to like defining even what money is, right? That's where Bitcoin comes in, or some other protocols that are trying to do that. Like, what is money? How do we agree on a store of value and a medium of exchange? But then also imagine that, like, I don't know, 3-4 centuries ago, like there wasn't a good concept of a company, right? Like where you could have equity in a company. What is equity? Equity is like a part of economic ownership of an entity, right? And it's represented in this thing called equity, and then these equities can trade on public markets, and those markets are huge. But imagine in these new types of systems, there are new ways of defining your ownership or your economic pie in a project. And those things are much more programmable. They're much more easily tradable than even equities, right? And everyone has access to it. Like you could be a 16-year-old kid growing up in India, and you have the same amount of access to this economic opportunity as anyone else on the planet. And I think that's fundamentally game changing. And that's the thing that I'm the most excited about, that now people can actually come together, form, like, it's not even a company, right? Because it's not really incorporated. It's not really, you don't really have equity in it, but you do have an economic stake in the success of that project, which is humans just working together, right? So at the fundamental level, that's basically humans just working together and trading and earning money, right? But it is a global, truly global economy, and it is being defined by Web3.